Sleeves here with the Senior Pickleball Report powered by TNC Network. Let's get it going. Today we conclude our series of interviewing ownership of the newly formed National Pickleball League, and this team's owner is Carol Rowles, and she is the owner of the Oklahoma City Punishers. We talk all things pickleball, including the newly formed league and what's going to happen over the summer with the league and obviously her team as well. All right, let's get to the interview with Carol. Carol Rowles from OKC Punishers of the newly formed National Pickleball League starting this June at Chicken and Pickle. Welcome to the Senior Pickleball Report.
All right, so glad to be here.
Woohoo! So, we start with everybody that I generally interview because most people, when you start playing pickleball, they want to know how long you've been playing and where this goofy wiffle ball game entered your life. It took over. So how did it work for you and when did it happen?
So I started playing in 2018. I needed to get something in my life that would get me out and more active in the community. And so I came upon it kind of by accident. I was looking for volunteer opportunities and just various different things. And I ran into someone at the YMCA who was doing a little bit of practicing before a tournament. And I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And they said, "Well, we're playing pickleball." And I said, "Oh my gosh, can I jump in?" And they were like, "Oh golly, here's this new who wants to try to hit with us." But anyway, they humored me for about 5 minutes. And then one of the guys had an app on his phone that had an upcoming beginner league. Oh. And so I took a picture of the app from my phone to his phone, and I called the number and I signed up for that beginner league.
Oh, right on. So 2018, I mean, for most people in recent, people that have joined, that's playing pickleball a long time. Like in pickleball years, 2018 is like, holy cow. Because most people I talk to, it was generally during the pandemic when they picked it up. So you got a head start on folks. Did you have a racket background at all?
I had played tennis a little bit when we lived in Hawaii. My husband and I were stationed there when he was in the Navy, and we lived there for about 8 years. And so I played tennis for a couple years there, just a very, like a little ladies league, not too intense, but it did help. It did help with learning how to play pickleball.
Right. So sort of a pretty, what I would say, normal beginning. You stumble across this game, you ask somebody if you can play, you try it out. You join a league or you take a lesson, you get a paddle. But in a relatively short time, you own a franchise of a professional league. Right. So let's talk about how that came to be, because, there's only 6 of you at this point, and, that's going to grow, obviously, but you're one of the 6. So talk about how the OKC Punishers from the National Pickleball League came into your world.
First of all, have to say it's a God thing, because the way the puzzle pieces fit together, that's my belief personally, that God orchestrated this ahead of time. And then we saw the opportunity and definitely jumped on it. But so how it came about was I happened to be at Chicken and Pickle with my Wednesday ladies group, and it was in February, and we were celebrating February birthdays. And this guy, I've got like my little food, and this guy taps me on the shoulder. I didn't know who he was. Yeah. And turns out it was Rick Witskin. He said, "Hey, how would you like to meet the #1 female player over 50 in the nation?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm way too busy. We're having this party." No, I was like, "What? Oh my gosh." Where? Who? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, her name's Beth Bellamy, and she's right over here, and I'd love to introduce you to her. And I said, "Oh, this is awesome." So I kind of looked over at my little friend group that was sitting, at the table, and I was like, "I'll be back in a minute." Beth and her sister and Rick came over, and I introduced them, and they were very gracious. It was super fun, and we prayed, and then I walked back over where Beth and Rick had gone back to sit down. And so I thought, and so I had this idea. I said, "Well, are you doing any events here in OKC? And they were like, combine here. And I said, my husband's a sports orthopedic surgeon. He could do the medical coverage for you if you guys are interested. And they were like, oh, yeah, we'd love to have a, surgeon in case somebody gets injured or whatever. And then they were excited about that. And also they wanted someone to warm up the players. And I invented a 17 exercise of dynamics. I do. And I was like, oh, I'll do that for you if you guys want. So basically a volunteer. And so we changed numbers, and I guess long story short, because it's getting already long.
It's all right.
With back and forths with Julie, the event coordinator, we kind of became fast friends. And one day we were talking and she said, hey, do you happen to know anyone who might be interested in buying the 6th and final pickleball team? And
right.
I don't know, but I'll ask my husband when he gets home.
Yeah.
So hubby comes home and I said, hey, do you know anyone who might want to buy a professional pickleball team? And he's like, thinking for, and he goes, why don't we buy it? And I thought it was an early April Fool's joke. But we looked into it a little bit more, and it became more and more serious and more evident that we never would want to miss out on an opportunity like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's very unique. Like, first of all, when I talk to people about pickleball that play pickleball, most of them are starting to realize, but just in recent memory, that there actually is professional pickleball. And then I tell them that there's professional, over the age of 50, over the age of 60. And they're like, oh my God. So to have a league that is accessible to people who are, either just coming to the game in recent years or having a resurgence in their athletic career, they were tennis players or whatever they happen to be, is a really unique, cool thing. And as this game is just, as we all know, exploding for some unknown reason or reasons, I think it seems to me a can't miss if you put in the chicken and pickle aspect of it as well. You could go to a restaurant like you were doing with your friends and watch professional pickleball up close. And for those who never have, it's a completely different experience than watching it on YouTube or television.
It's intense. It's intense. It's serious.
Yeah.
Anyone can learn how to play. It's what they say is easy to learn, hard to master.
Right. Absolutely. And I would agree 100% as I go on my own journey. So let's talk. I mean, you've had a pretty busy spring here. Obviously the combine, in your hometown and or generally where you live, and the draft, which was, in Florida. So talk about those two experiences and how you kind of went about those and approached those, and, if you had some fun, and talk about that.
Well, it's all been a whirlwind of fun. It's been amazing. So it started off, with the combine, and players from all over the nation came and definitely had an amazing time. But they were serious. This is after. I mean, this is to get on a professional pickleball team. So we had one of our players, David Alexander, who did 45 days leading up to the combo.
Oh yeah, I watched his channel.
At combine. And so he really wanted to make sure that he showed all the things that he went through, and how he prepared to get ready for the show. So many players did different things, and the excitement that they brought and the energy that they brought, and just this opportunity, I think they all understood what this really means for pickleball, and especially over 50, Right. It was great. The love, I mean, honestly, the attitudes, the sportsmanship, all of those things were really felt very strongly at the combine. And it already felt like a big NPL family.
Yeah. And so obviously I saw the draft. I watched the draft live on Instagram, and you could feel that in the room as well. I watch a lot of senior pickleball Champions Tour stuff, and I follow a lot of them on Instagram in different social media platforms, because I have to interview them, and I'm 56 myself. I'm interested in the level of play, but you can tell when they get on the court, it's serious, but at the end of the day, if you watch them on social platforms, social media platforms, they're having lunch and dinners afterwards, and it's a big family. And I feel like, and I've said this multiple times, that the NPL is just expanding that family atmosphere. And you can really tell at the draft. New paddle company, Pickle, PCKL, great paddle line, great price points. Anything you want from starter paddle to intermediate to a pro series high level paddle. Check them out. Get 15% off using my discount code. Pickle. It's the future.
Are you looking to stay up to date on the latest pickleball news and tips? Look no further than the Sleeves Senior Pickleball Report newsletter. Get the scoop on the sport, learn how to stay healthy while playing, and find out about upcoming tournaments. Subscribe now to get all the pickleball info you need.
So talk about the draft, because that was a really, really cool event.
That will be something in my life that will be a highlight that I will never forget. And thankfully, I've seen some people were recording a lot of parts of it. And so I've had a chance to go back and watch it several times, actually, because it was just so memorable. And I just cherish the fact that I have some recordings of all that went on and just how wonderful the whole experience was. But so I don't know if you're wanting to know like what happened during the draft party or during the draft, or
well, I think in talking about like some of these people, obviously you're meeting for the first time, people you're drafting and other owners. So talk about that a little bit.
Wow. So I'll start out first with the other owners.
Yeah.
They are such an amazing group of individuals. And again, with the whole family feel, they definitely, everyone wants everyone else to succeed. And it's not, I succeed if you fail. No, it's team among teams, among a bigger team.
Right.
So everyone is helpful to one another. I'll give you an example. One of the owners from the Boca Raton Picklers is a lawyer, and my husband and I, he's medical and I was a teacher. So
so was I.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
Lawyer.
I was a high school teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, the business world,
Yeah, right.
So, you got to form an LLC and do things that we've never thought about. So, reached out to me right away and said, hey, let me do that for you. And like, okay, how much do I owe you? No charge, just showing the love,
Right, right.
But he did say if he ever has any medical questions, he wants to
right on.
Ask about his ankle or whatever. So
yeah, exactly. No, it was, I mean, I've interviewed, you're the last of the 6 teams that I've interviewed, and every single one of them that I've got a chance to talk to. And I didn't get a chance to talk to every owner because there's multiple owners for some of the teams, but I got to touch base at least with somebody. And they've all been super easy to talk to. And you can tell that this is it's a different type of professional league because, as we've talked about a little bit, in some cases, this is a second chance for folks. And it's not necessarily about making money. It's about really competing and having fun. And sure, you want to make some money and you want to be profitable. But at the end of the day, it's not your career necessarily anymore. You're not fighting to stay on tour. You're kind of, you get to play in different parts of the country, and hopefully, you guys get to host some home matches eventually down the road once the league expands. So talk about really, what your expectations are as maybe the years go by, because obviously you learn things year 1, year 2. You don't necessarily know what you're going to learn, but where do you see this going?
I see this being extremely huge. I listened to an interesting podcast recently. This was this 33-year-old guy who is this big time hedge fund guy. And I don't even think he knew that much about pickleball, but he got involved in such a financially booming, anything to do with pickleball, whether you're merchandise or you have courts or you have a team or you're a player. However you might be involved, it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry because to his point, more people will be playing pickleball than any other sport, and people want to watch what they play, and they want outfits and the paddles and balls and the nets and the, whatever else, whatever it might be. So
yeah, it seems to be endless. I'm talking to people that are, physical therapists, and they're helping people in pickleball. So there's, people are specializing in different things. And obviously the merchandise can go endlessly with paddles and shirts and shoes. And it is a fascinating, I guess, market to be in, where you can just feel this launch going. And you're a big part of it because you have a team. And let's talk about the team name and where you came up with Punishers.
Well, we wanted something tough. We're from the Wild West.
That's right.
So we're like, okay, we want to be something kind of intimidating and tough sounding. And so we started thinking, and then we put it to our daughters. We were kind of waffling back and forth between two names, which would be the Crushers or the Punch.
Yeah.
And it was unanimous. Everybody, son-in-law, they were all Punishers.
Yeah.
We want to on the courts. We want to social media. We want to punish out there in the world. We just want to bring it, and we want to bring it with a little salty flavor.
Yeah. Have some fun with it. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Obviously it's at Chicken and Pickle. And for those folks who have never been to one, a place where you can sit down, have some food, have some drink, play different games. Obviously one of them being pickleball, and now watching pickleball on a professional level there. Talk about that partnership and what you think that really brings to the league. Because for me, that's a really cool element to have that sort of intimacy and a place families can go and hang out.
Yes, for sure. That's the deal. You go there maybe for pickleball, but then there's other things. There's the great food. There's the fun atmosphere. There's shuffleboard and like giant battleship and cornhole, different things. But the people that work there are all very friendly and welcoming, and you just want to hang out. You don't want to go and play a couple games and leave. You kind of want to stay.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere and, the food and the friends. And so that just brings it to a whole nother level. It's a great concept. And Chicken and Pickle has been there for me in the past. I did a charity tournament before we opened the OKC branch. And they had to work till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get it ready, because we had the tournament dates all set. And and at the time, the manager Joe was like, we're going to get this done for you no matter what. We don't want you to have to change your dates or anything like that. And so the workers went way above and beyond and stayed till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning the few days leading up to it, to put all the finishing touches on to make a great charity event there. And it turned out to be really amazing.
Oh, fabulous. Right on. Well, hey, thanks for your time. Great, talking to you and finally meeting you sort of like this. Hope to meet you in person at one of the events. I should be at the championship event in Glendale, Arizona, because I'm in New Mexico, so it's not too far for me. And chance to meet you in person. And hey, have some fun this season, because OKC Punishers are bringing it, people.
We got some surprises up our sleeve that are going to bring a little different flavor to some things. And I just want you to listen out for what the Punishers are going to be doing. So
right on, Carol, right on. Hope you enjoyed the interview, folks. Check out all the links in the description for our guest. And don't forget, we have a newsletter. Try and subscribe to that if you want your daily fix. And obviously, we'd like you to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Check out all our socials, and also check out all the merchandise in the description as well. We've got discounts on shoes and paddles. And check out our merch page as well. All right. Hey, let's pickle. Hey, if you're looking for very, very comfortable court shoes, in fact, the most comfortable court shoes I've ever worn, and I've worn a lot of them over the years playing different sports, try Fitville. We have a link in the description that gets you $20 off your purchase.